I think violence is everywhere. It's when countries speak to each other, it's within the governments, it's within the family household, it's within the workplace, within schools. So really learning how to stop this vicious cycle of violence. And this compassionate listening really gives us a tool. How to stop it, how to stop blaming, and how to take responsibility for our own violence and how to melt it, because it gives tools not only to understand it but also how to really melt the violence from within ourselves. And this is peace work in action. This is the core of peace work.
This format and compassionate listening allows us to move through our story, our shadow, our wounds, and to come out the other side. Not only to come out the other side, but in the process to still connect with our own humanity and with the humanity of the other. And to see this happening with Israelis and Palestinians is extremely, extremely, extremely transformational. And I just want to honor this process and honor Leah for doing this work, because to create such a container amidst such conflict and chaos and confusion and wounding, to me that's sacred work.
For me, this workshop is how to build that harmony. It's not only between the Palestinians and Israelis, but also within the family. You know, the skills of compassionate listening, I think they are a human requirement and very much needed. If you look yesterday to the circle, between Palestinians and Israelis, it was one of the most emotional and one of the strongest circles I have ever been. The emotions of the two sides. And this is for me human connection. It's a human-to-human connection. And thanks compassionate listening is doing that.
I feel that the compassionate listening is a way that we can really go very deep, hold the container and heal by sharing our pain. And I believe that's the only way to really get to the next place of being active, is if we can express that pain. Because when we're holding the pain, so much pain inside of our bodies, we're not open to anything else. And the compassionate listening gives a beautiful container for releasing that pain and for deep healing, very deep healing.
It's very valuable for us to hear each other as a human beings, not as an occupier and as a victim. This is a very important thing for us. When you have this ability to hear the other side without comment, without judgment, without violence, it's very important thing to hear each other, and after that we can get enclosed with each other to find a solution. And also this is build a trust between each other.
This is the first time which I meet an Israeli person. Always I was threatened to meet Israeli person and refused that, because I know all of the Israelis not love Palestinian. There isn't any Israelis help anybody of Palestinian. But now everything changed. I love all of them. They carry a lot of feelings, love, sensitive. They cried. This is important. Never I saw one of Israelis cried for experience of Palestinian.
All my life I've been a great listener, but I've not actually felt safe enough to really open up and speak from the heart and speak openly. And what was created here was a very, very safe environment to just feel free to express, be honest, be open, and in that way really meet each other and really be touched by each other's humanity, to the extent where you're no longer Palestinian Israeli old or young, of whatever culture or religion. You're simply a human being. And this is, you know, a phenomenal achievement in 2.5 days. So I'm very grateful for that experience, and I feel that what I learned here and gained here, I will take into every aspect of my life.
This is the first time that I feel I'm listening to the suffering of Israelis people, personal suffering, which motivate me to say about my personal suffering. Most of the Palestinians suffer stories about suffering it caused by the occupation. And I think that we evade speaking about our personal suffering. And really, also to hear them in compassionate listening. This is the first time that I feel that the walls between me and them were broken, or even there were no walls, because I felt I am too close to them in humanity, with suffering, personal things, with the same harm and torture and feelings.
First of all, I must say that I am a nonviolent communication trainer, facilitator. So the essence and the practices I'm familiar with. And yet I feel that having these trainings to a group of Palestinians and Jewish people and bringing that kind of fusion is very essential. But what happens many times when Israelis and Palestinians come together is that there are still layers underneath, still patterns working that stand in the way of real partnership. If we could work together on a project, all the while working on our communication and what really stands underneath, what really lies underneath, it would improve the consequences, the outcomes. And this honesty cannot come without a safe environment. And what compassionate listening creates is a very, very, very safe, honest, and humane environment. We are longing for this. The Israelis are longing to have this kind of connection with the Palestinians, and the Palestinians are longing to have a truthful connection, and which is filled up with respect.
I think compassionate listening, this method that we experienced and utilized in this workshop, can and will be important to the peacemaking process worldwide, and especially here in Israel-Palestine. The most useful thing I learned is that my intellect is not the most important thing I have to offer the world, that my heart is much deeper, and I don't utilize it well enough or often enough. And when I can use it, I get better results.
Einstein said you can't solve a problem with the same consciousness that created it. And this is moving into another consciousness. It's moving into the heart, and it's saying there is another way. We can still have different beliefs. We can still think differently. We don't have to agree with each other, but we can still connect on a human level. And the paradox is that when we move through and connect on that human level, then it's possible for agreements to be made. And so this process is, for me, beyond powerful. It's beyond potent.
Of course, I will talk a lot about this experience. I will talk a lot about the Israelis and the Palestinians whom I met here. I would love to help any of the group need anything in Ramallah or want to cooperate for anything in Ramallah. I say to them, I am your embassy in Ramallah. And for myself, I feel strong with the relation. Now, if I was having 100 friends, I'm sure that after this training, they are 110 at least. So I am more strong. This is the windows whom I can breathe through them, and they can breathe through me.
To meet like-minded people from both sides really gives you the strength to carry on and to connect with them on such a personal level, gives you even more strength, more courage, and more trust that this is really the way. So I really hope compassionate listening continues to do its work, that it goes to more circles and all over the world, and that more people get to experience this really unique set of tools and technology, because it really is quite phenomenal what can be achieved in such a short space of time. So thank you. Really thank you.